besides doctor.
He's be tripping out, Kimba be tripping.
Kimba in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey there, meet Kimba, radio broadcast episode 25. Funny how time flies. For it was on November 12th, 2019, that I and several of my colleagues were unceremoniously extracted from our radio's building. Well, for me, it was a career that had been mostly uninterrupted since 1986. And it is hard for me to believe that I have not been on the air in a year. It's just crazy to me, especially the fact that it flew by in 2020 when most of us, and myself included, have been less active than seemingly ever. And it still just kind of went by in a blink. Luckily, on that day, I had a heads up earlier, so it wasn't a complete surprise to me, but it's still surreal when you're doing your job and you're doing it well by all accounts and you still get let go. And even though you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, that's the radio business, it doesn't really help when it's you. I received so many words and phone calls of support and encouragement from friends and family and my extended family, also known as listeners. We are lucky enough now to have social media, so I could actually post that I had a forced departure. And most people didn't have to wonder, where is she? Is she still on vacation? Is she on vacation again? Those kind of questions. Before social media, you really had no way to let anyone know because the stations would usually prohibit anyone from discussing it, certainly not on air. And on the phone, you were just supposed to say they're no longer here, which makes sense because you don't want to put anybody's business out there. But it was you just there one day and weren't the next. Now, the stations still have those policies, and you would certainly not put anything on a station's social media. However, now that we have our own, we could at least say, we're not there anymore. Thank you for listening. And at least get that information out there so people aren't left to wonder, where the heck did you go? Howard Cohen of the Miami Herald, he wrote a really nice article a couple days later. And I put the link to it on my Facebook page, should you be interested in checking it out if you missed it when it was released a year ago. Just when I was able to begin looking for my next South Florida radio opportunity, the pandemic hit, followed by more radio layoffs. I mean, even just recently, some colleagues have found themselves unemployed. And in general, though, with the pandemic, jobs were just not available because even places that you would think that are open because of this, maybe say grocery stores or whatnot, they had shortened their hours. So they were even cutting back their employees. So it was really hard pressed to find a job for most of us anywhere, not just radio people. In the time of the quarantine and lockdown is when I started Me Kimba radio broadcast, where I'm able to stay connected to you and have gotten to chat with longtime listeners and musician friends, some of which colleagues that I have not spoken to in a couple decades. And I've been able to go back and unearth all of these interviews and the history of what we were able to do in South Florida radio over these inching ever so close to 34 years. Yes, it will actually be 34 years in December that I got my first job in radio. And while DJs, for the most part, we don't get instant gratification on the daily. In other words, we sit in our padded room by ourselves and, is anyone out there? You would somewhat regularly get phone calls from listeners saying kind words.
My name is Kimba.
It sounds like Kimba. This is so cool.
It sounds like me. I'm using my vocal double, my understudy.
Are you?
No.
No, you're not. Oh, my God.
I'm just being silly.
I know. I listen all the time.
Ah, so you're on to me.
Is Kimba your real name?
Sure.
It is?
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm like one of your biggest fans. I can't say I'm your biggest fan because there might be some people out there that actually make love to your picture or something. So I can't say I'm your biggest. I think that I'm like one of your really big fans because like all my spare time, I just sit in the bathroom and listen to the radio. Either I sit in the shower.
So are you in the bathroom now?
Yeah. Like when I'm not doing my homework or in school, I'm in the
Yeah.
bathroom playing around. I never realized how fun the bathroom can be.
Are you Kimba?
Yes.
Oh my God! And you're like my favorite DJ, dude. We're always talking about you. You're so awesome.
Oh, well, thank you.
We're like your biggest fans, man.
Yeah, we were talking to Razor about you.
Uh-oh.
Cool.
Yeah, we called Razor and we're like, oh, do you know Kimba? And he's like, yeah. Oh my God, you're Kimba.
But I'm good.
You're Kimba up the creek.
Kimba of the what?
Up the creek.
Up the creek.
Yeah, you said that one time.
I'm Kimba up the creek.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
that's your name. Your last name is Up the Creek.
Up the creek. That's right. I'm still waiting for the paddle.
You're so funny, dude. You're a favorite.
You know, which was nice, just nice to hear every now and again that someone was out there and they were listening. And with that gone now, to get messages from Maria, I've subscribed to your channel. To Joe, good luck. You have too much talent to sit at home like Martha Stewart. Although she probably would have crocheted a couch or something by now while sitting at home. I have just created an indentation in my couch that's wildly similar to my body outline. Carlos, who said, how could you not be on the air? You are golden. Wow. And Mark, who wrote, love the broadcast, by the way. Great job. These messages, truly, they mean so much when you're kind of figuring out what you're going to do. And this may be one of my favorite messages that I've received very recently. In fact, I received it yesterday. His name is Brian, and he wrote, hello, Kimba. I listened to your podcast about your dad. I actually knew your dad. I met him about 35 years ago. He was always so nice to me. I looked forward to him coming home and going to chat with him. My family, as well as your dad, went to a picnic at Markham Park, and I had the opportunity to meet you. All your dad talked about was his daughter, the DJ, and how proud he was. Wasn't long after you were well known here in South Florida. My point of writing this was to let you know I had just a small time with him, but the memories have always stuck with me. His laugh and time he took with people was second to none. He is missed, and I enjoy reliving the good times I had pestering him. Surely missed. Great man. Ah, Brian, you have no idea how much that means to me. I'm so glad you got to experience him that way. And if by chance you missed that episode with my father, it's episode 22 of the radio broadcast. My father was a big part of the show back in the day, and I did a broadcast about him in honor of what would have been his 85th birthday. So if you missed out on that, just a few episodes back, public shout out. I know I've thanked them, but I really want to thank all of my close friends in my life, and I am lucky enough to have more than one. I have several really good, close, true friends who have bought me more than one lunch or dinner, paid a bar tab, listened to me whine, sometimes while drinking their wine, go for 2-hour vent walks. A few have put in a good word for me at various job openings. It's so comforting to know that I have these relationships that I can rely on. So that's a good thing. And now here it is a year later. And while it's a strange anniversary to be celebrating, I still wish to find an on-air home, and I hope to do it soon. And there are 2 movie quotes about wishing and hoping. Shawshank Redemption gives us hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. And then you've got from Grumpy Old Men, you can wish in one hand and crap in the other and see which gets filled first. A bit of levity goes a long way. So does subscribing to this cast. And if you so choose, you can also be notified whenever there is a new episode. Feel free to also like and or comment on any given episode. You could send me a message via social media or email. All my contact info can be found in the description of the podcast. And at the end of the vodcast, you can see it there, or you can use the contact info tab at mekimba.com. That'll help as well. I'd love to hear from you. I just wanted to reach out on this anniversary and say thank you for listening when you did. Thank you for all the support that I have been given in the past year and all the kind words that have been thrown my way. I really do appreciate it. I thank you for being one of Kimba's herd. And thank you for listening to Me Kimba Radio Broadcast, episode 25. Funny how time flies.
Let's keep this on the radio.
Kimba!